Today we're talking to Nikita Dhawan. She is the founder of Youth for Animals, an animal rights organization in India. She's filed a legal petition to free an elephant called Shankar. He's around 26 years old and he has been living at Delhi Zoo. Welcome, Nikita. First of all, can you tell us something more about Shankar?
So Shankar arrived in India in around 1998, and yes, he's around 24, 26 years old, and he is an African male elephant. And he was originally with another female elephant named Bombay, but she unfortunately passed away in the early 2000s. So he has been kept in solitary ever since. And based on the reports, it's found that Shankar was taken from the wild as a diplomatic gift from Zimbabwe to India. So just a couple of things about Shankar's condition is that his enclosure is only around an acre, which is the minimum size for an elephant, whereas in the wild, they walk 50 to 60 kilometers a day. And he is chained for 17 hours. He has no auditory or visual communication with other elephants. So he's kept completely in a separate enclosure. And there is a railway line right next to him, and elephants have very sensitive ears. So, and their children screaming all the time. So it's very harmful for Shankar. And one of the most landmark things that we saw about him that made us concerned was that he was showing stereotypical or repetitive behavior. You know, he was swaying back and forth, which is a clear sign of neurological distress. So that's what really struck us about Shankar. But the main fact was that he was solitary.
You've filed a petition at the Delhi High Court, and the petition is to free him, right?
Our first ideal solution is that he will go back to an African sanctuary. So we have the help from a British charity called Aspinall Foundation, who have agreed to help with the translocation and the facilitation of him in an African sanctuary and pay for all the expenses, which is really amazing. So that's our ideal solution for him, and for him to be with other African elephants is the goal.
Have you been able to talk to anybody at the zoo about Shankar?
Yeah, so we had sent them one letter in the beginning asking them that why is Shankar in the zoo and why it's not justified for elephants in general to be kept in zoos with a lot of scientific research behind it. And we never got a response. And then after that, we sent a letter to the Ministry of Environment and the PMO's office, as well as the zoo again, talking about the legal information. We had more support from organizations. We still did not receive a response. And even in the court hearing itself on January 3rd, no representative from the zoo came. But there was an interview in the Patriot from the zoo, and one of the directors had expressed that they would be open to, either exchanging Shankar with another zoo or moving him, but it wasn't really made clear what their opinion was on it.
And the court case is this Thursday. Can you explain a little bit how does it work? So there's a court case, you're asking for him to be released?
Sure. Some of the grounds that we're basing the petition off of, firstly, there was a legislation in 2009 by the Central Zoo Authority, which regulates all the zoos in India. And they said that elephants cannot be kept in zoos and they are banned from exhibition. And, it's been a long amount of time and Shankar is still in the zoo. So that was a clear violation that we saw. And so that's one of our main grounds that we're going off of. The other one is they had some report in 2014 where the CZA stated that no elephant can be kept in solitary for more than 6 months. And it's been 16 years for Shankar, and nothing has happened.
The Aspinall Foundation, they have offered basically to pay everything. What, besides, I think, just having an elephant at your zoo, what could be the reason for Delhi Zoo not to agree with that? If somebody else is willing to pay for everything?
We think that one of the main reasons is that an African elephant is such a large attraction to a zoo in Delhi. A lot of people want to see such an exotic animal, and I guess a lot of funds from that. And Shankar is really a magnificent elephant. So I can imagine why the zoo would want to keep him. But I think that we have to remember that we should look at what's best for Shankar. And it might be kind of framed as, we're just doing it for conservation. We're helping Shankar. But it's not conservation since he was taken from the wild and he was a diplomatic gift. So he wasn't endangered. He was living with a family. He was taken for our entertainment, just for us to look at him. So I think posing it as conservation or education is flawed.
And is Shankar, is that, so he's been alone for 16 years at Delhi Zoo. Are there other examples in India of lonely elephants in zoos?
There's actually another African elephant. There are only two African elephants in India. So there's Shankar, and the other one is Rambo, and he is there's a zoo in Mysore, which is near Bangalore. So he's over there, and he is also alone since he's the only African elephant. But the thing about him is that he does have visual communication with the other Asian elephants. So we did see that was an improvement. But yeah, we don't think his case is still not justified in any way or not. And I think even like past zoos, if you look at like temples, circuses, private facilities, what elephants are being used for, even if they're in contact with other elephants, it's not ethical.
You've visited Shankar around 4 to 5 times. Do you see his health deteriorating every time you go back?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like every day that he has to live in the zoo, it's getting worse for him. And it just breaks my heart every time, like even more, because he just seems really alone. And we actually had, for Petition, a vet go over there to examine him. There was like physical distance, but he was able to look at him, and he was talking about how he has inadequate foot care, he has dry skin. And I think even just going past the physical abnormalities for Shankar, it's more mental distress, right?
Yeah.
Just the state of being captive away from other elephants and in a completely unnatural habitat for him is just heartbreaking.
Yeah, and you also made a video which we'll show in a bit about he is swaying, which is like a behavior of elephants. That's like when they do this moving back and forth, which people think is funny, but it's a very stressed behavior.
Yeah, a lot of people were like clapping about it. They thought he was dancing, but it was just shows how people are not aware of it, because we kind of like create a facade of how elephants, and especially in India, how we respect elephants so much, we adore them, they're a symbol of our culture, but yet we're not treating them right, and our actions are just not reflecting our words.
And your petition has been signed almost 200,000 times, so there's a movement coming within India that people actually do care about this.
I think the whole thing with Shankar's petition is to not only about him, but it's to open doors for all captive elephants. We want to, especially in India, I feel like it's not talked about enough, just because I mentioned we just have this kind of illusion that it's all going well. So I think just even raising awareness, just talking about things is enough to make a difference. And so I'm really glad that there's been movement about it.
So the hearing is going to be on Thursday. Are there lawyers in India who also have animal welfare highly?
Yeah, so we have 2 lawyers right now and 1 senior advocate, Mr. Raj Pandwani, and our lawyers are Dhananjay Grover and Ishma Ramdavani. So they're going to attend the hearing and make the argument, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be in an online setting.
I'm going to wish you good luck on Thursday, and we're going to talk to you again Thursday night to see how it went. We'll have a short update with you.
Yeah, great. That sounds good.
Okay, thank you very much, and good luck on Thursday.
Great.